Today we're going to talk about bacteria in our life. We spent some time talking about bacteria already, but a few more things we want to go over. We know that most bacteria is prokaryotic, which means it does not have a nucleus, and its organelles, like the mitochondria and Golgi bodies and things, do not have a membrane. Okay. We also know that bacteria divides using mitosis, that one bacteria will copy its DNA and then split into two. But today we're going to talk bacteria in our life. I would probably write this down. Most bacteria in our lives are beneficial. Very few bacteria actually causes disease. We have many bacteria that live in our bodies that help keep us healthy. We have bacteria in our intestines that are going to help us break down food. You've maybe seen commercials for like probiotics, like yogurt and things like that, or supplements that will either introduce good bacteria into your intestines or help the bacteria that's in there help you digest food. So most bacteria is beneficial. Most of the time when you think of bacteria, you think of getting sick, and that's not usually the case. Bacteria does live inside you. There's, like I mentioned, bacteria in your intestines that are going to produce things like vitamin K or help you digest food. There's this dude named Alexander Fleming who in the 1920s came up with this idea called penicillin, and it was kind of an accident, but he derived this antibiotic from mold, and he found out that it killed bacteria. Most of us have had penicillin or some strain of penicillin in our lives to kill a bacteria for an infection. And we talked about this a little bit. Bacteria changes pretty quickly, so we're constantly adjusting our penicillin and our antibiotics, so that way we can stay ahead of the bacteria without it evolving into something different. Skip to that. Bacteria is also used to produce some sorts of food, cheeses, sauerkrauts, pickles, olives, things that cure. Anything that you normally like pickle, or even like beer and other alcohols, there's bacteria involved. I would write this down. Bacteria can get into your body in many ways. Through cuts. One of the things, if you get a cut, you usually put something like Neosporin on it, which will not only help it heal, but it'll kill bacteria. You usually keep it covered. A few hundred years ago, during the Civil War, for instance, people didn't know about bacteria and how that made you sick. So if someone was shot, they'd put a dirty rag on it, and then if that person died, they'd take that bandage, that dirty rag, and put it on someone else, and they were spreading bacteria. So it's important if you get a cut, especially something bigger and deeper, to make sure it's clean, so bacteria doesn't get into it. You're naturally going to take in bacteria through breathing, and then also through your food. If you've ever had food poisoning, odds are it's from bacteria. Like E. coli, if you've heard of that, is a type of bacteria that you can get every once in a while. There's a recall on lettuce or something like that. And if you have a certain type of lettuce, if you bought a certain type of lettuce at a certain time, then they tell you to throw it away because it's contaminated with a harmful bacteria that'll make you sick. I'd probably put this down. A pathogen is any organism that causes disease. Pathogens produce poisonous substances called toxins. Some bacteria are pathogens. So a pathogen is a disease causer. Oops. We talked about this in the past. If you want to write it, great. But pasteurization is a process that removes bacteria from milk, juices, and other food. We'll pasteurize our milk, so basically we heat it up to a high temperature for a short amount of time, and it's going to kill a good portion of bacteria in milk and make it stay fresh for longer, so it won't go sour as fast. We do the same thing with like orange juice. I believe your eggs, if you buy them in the store, are pasteurized, basically to keep them good for longer. Because if you think about it, your milk, even if you go from the cow to the store, it sits in the store for a few days, then you take it home, it sits in your fridge for a week or two. That's a long time. If you didn't pasteurize that milk would go bad a lot quicker. Vaccines can prevent bacteria from infecting you as well as viruses. So vaccinations will kill bacteria, certain types as well. So we name bacteria based on their shapes. Okay, so like this would be Coccus right here is round. Bacillus is kind of this weird tic-tac shape. Okay, and then they have like, if they put a prefix like di in front of it, that means 2. Strep, I believe, means it's a chain. Maybe you've heard of like strep throat. It's really Streptococcus. That's the official name, but it's a bacteria that makes you sick. We won't worry too much about that, but they're named because of their shapes. And then a lot of them have a flagella, which is a tail like thing that kind of helps it move. So that is all for today.